Julia, let's just make sure there's no drama.
Wait to make sure there's no drama.
And make sure there's no drama, Julia.
I'm just asking to you either.
I don't think that can happen.
Hope is our plan.
So I hope if you're gonna be complaining, you should start do everything or something to make that splitting happen.
This could ruin a marriage.
Now I'm starting to wonder, maybe I'm the one who made the bad investment with our relationship.
Julia's do-over wedding is getting off to a rough start, and it can't all be blamed on Betty. But Julia isn't the only one in for a tough time this week. So before we dive into all the tears and the marital problems, let's pick up where we left off with Brandon and Julia. So we join them in this episode, somewhat surprisingly, as they've gone to visit Ron and Betty at their house, the house where they all used to live together.
So far, it's going a lot better than the last time we all met.
Yeah, because she doesn't have an expecting guest. We come with permission.
Yeah, I mean, the last time they did all meet, Betty and Ron didn't have permission to come over, and Julia is still slightly bitter about that. But seeing as they're all now headed to Miami for Julia and Brandon's second wedding, Julia wants to put that tension behind them. Remember, Julia and Brandon want to renew their vows, do a second ceremony, because Julia's parents weren't able to be there in person first time round. Now, her parents do seem to be enjoying what they see of Ron and Betty's farm. Heck, even Julia seems to be relaxed. But make no mistake, she doesn't miss her life here.
Don't you miss the farm?
Oh, hell no. It's so much. It's dirty. And Betty and I bumps had a lot when I live here.
Now, Brandon believes that that's because both ladies have a lot in common. They're both super stubborn, he says. They both like things to be done their way. I mean, this led to a situation, he tells us, where they even argued about the placement of toilet paper. I mean, yeah, I think it is for the best that they moved out of there. I don't think this marriage would have lasted as long as it has if they had all remained under the same roof. But as they sit there enjoying a family dinner together, the conversation soon turns to Julia's plans for her wedding.
My perfect things is in a beach somewhere. It's small, simple.
If that's your dream.
Betty's got a list of plans.
I bet she does. I mean, she always has plenty of plans. She always wants things done her way. But unfortunately, those plans, those wishes, never seem to align with anything that Julia wants. Now, unsurprisingly, Julia isn't having it. She shoots down that suggestion immediately. She doesn't want the big, lavish kind of wedding ceremony that Betty might have planned. And seeing as it's her special day, she is gonna be getting her way. If you're going to be attending, if you're going to come with us, she warns Betty, you're going to need to respect my wishes.
Julia, let's just make sure there's no drama.
Wait to make sure there's no drama.
And make sure there's no drama, Julia.
I'm just asking to you either.
I don't think that can happen.
Maybe, just maybe, if both women are on their best behaviour, if they both really try, and of course if Betty is willing to allow Julia to do what she wants with her own wedding, maybe, just maybe, the wedding might be drama-free. But I wouldn't bet my house on it, put it that way. Now, while the two women do call a truce, unfortunately, a truce doesn't really mean all that much when you're Betty and Julia.
This is how usually me and Betty deal with any other drama. We usually forgive and forget. We never apologize to each other. We never are talking deeper.
The healthy way.
Yeah.
Yeah, very healthy indeed. Let's just put everything behind us, not resolve the issues, and wait for it to blow up again another day. I mean, no wonder things between them are so volatile. They're constantly walking on eggshells, both of them, aren't they? Like nothing's ever fully resolved between them. Now, when we join them again a few days later, they're all headed off to Miami to go sightseeing. Julia plans to have the wedding ceremony on the beach, and of course, Betty has to put a dampener on things. What if it rains, she asks.
Hope is our plan.
So I hope if you're gonna be complaining, you should start do everything or something to make that splitting happen.
Okay, look, yeah, it might be a good idea to have a backup plan in case it rains, but would it kill Brandon just to be supportive for once? I mean, from the sounds of things, he hasn't exactly been the best help when it comes to planning. So the least you can do is just act, Brandon. Just act. Even if you don't believe it, just act like you believe things will work out as Julia hopes they will.
You think my mom's doing the rain dance to ruin everything for you. That's how you always think.
She drank wine and said, hey, can you make it rain tomorrow?
Oh, I don't know. If Betty could make it rain, if she could snap her fingers and put halt to Julia's plans so that they had to follow her own, I get the feeling she'd happily do that. So what are Betty's plans? Like, what would she like them to have done? Well, for a start, she says, I'd have had the ceremony under a pretty shelter with flowers everywhere. That's just how I always imagined your wedding to be.
If you want to have your wedding, you will be do that. So I already planned what I want to do.
Mom, just let her have her thing.
Wait, what's that? Surely not. Could it really be? Is that really Brandon telling his mum to back off and stop pushing Julia? Wow, I'm shocked. Now, look at Betty. She isn't happy with this. And I get the feeling that if her prayers are answered and it does rain, she won't be able to stop saying, I told you so. But, outwardly at least, she promises to let it go. Now, let's not forget, their first wedding was exactly the way that Betty wanted. That, of course, was during COVID and also when Julia had first arrived in the country. Julia didn't really get much of a say that time. And in fact, when Julia is alone with her parents, that, Betty's level of influence, is something that they want to talk to her about.
Не, ну мы заметили, что она даже тут тебя контролирует.
Да, даже со свадьбой.
Почти в Россию переехал.
If you live in Russia, her parents joke, Betty will be too far away to control you. But Julia doesn't believe that will be the case. She'd probably just follow us there, she says. But, seeing as we're on that topic, Julia says, there is something that I'd like to talk to you about. Rather than us moving to Russia, I'd love it if you guys could move to America instead. How would you feel about coming to live with me and Brandon, she asks her parents. And this seems to catch her parents completely off guard.
Ну, я больше склоняюсь к тому, что родина моя там. Моя жизнь вся.
Мне кажется, столько сложностей будет при переезде.
Julia is devastated by this news, but I don't really understand why. I don't understand what fairy tale world she's living in. Does she really expect her mum and dad to just give up their lives, give up everything they know, to come and live together? After all, let's not forget they're divorced, in a home where Julia has already told them she and Brandon are probably arguing more because they're there. I mean, surely their reluctance to move shouldn't come as that much of a shock to her. But, devastated by what they've just told her, Julia goes back to her room.
Just asked them if they want to eventually move here, and they told me no.
And I know you want him to live here, but I think we should get through in this ceremony.
If she was expecting to get some sympathy from her husband, she should probably think again. Brandon, if anything, is probably relieved to learn this news. He never wanted them to come permanently. And plus, he says, you and I should be focusing on our family right now. But that is no consolation for Julia. Like having this taste of her mum and dad here in America, giving her a glimpse into what a life together might be like in the States. Now more than ever, she desperately wants them here next to her. She'd love to be able to have their support if and when they have their child.
Who gonna be support me? Who gonna help me?
My parents could be that support in place.
No.
Now, given what we know, given that in real life, off-screen, Julia and Brandon are now expecting a child, it just makes this moment even sadder in my mind. I do kind of sympathise for her. I do understand that all she wants is for her own family to be there for her future child. But, unfortunately, it's just not realistic. Now, while her wedding might not have even started yet, while all of her plans are already getting messed up, someone else who also has an event that's being messed up is Yara. We join her in this episode as her launch party is being disrupted by her friends.
My husband would never talk about my weight. He would never make a comment about my parents. Ever!
Wait. I want to ask Loren what she told you.
Remember, Yara had told Elizabeth that Loren and Alexei had been gossiping behind her and her husband's back. They'd apparently said that Andrei was a horrible person. So, in retaliation for that, Elizabeth and Andrei decided to go after Alexei. They decided to spill the beans about some of the things that Loren had privately told Elizabeth about her husband. There's a lot of gossip here. All of this gossip is creating quite the drama at Yara's launch party. Now, Alexei pulls his wife over, he wants to find out what she's been saying. But before she can even respond to his question, Andrei chimes in.
I read the text messages.
Wait, you reading our text messages?
I didn't tell you anything about our conversation.
Well, I looked into that conversation.
Loren says that she confides in Libby. I have a feeling she wouldn't confide in her if she knew that Andrei was reading everything that she was sending in those private messages. But that being the case, is it just me, or is Elizabeth not really even all that shocked to learn that her husband has been reading her messages? Surely that invasion of her privacy should be a little more disconcerting to her, no? Either way, whatever the truth, Andrei's revelations to Alexei could have some serious consequences.
Alex and I, we're not perfect. We have our problems, and to bring up being body shamed out of nowhere, this could ruin a marriage.
Loren tries to explain that she has body dysmorphia. Not everything I told you is actually accurate, she says. Some of those messages were the way I was feeling rather than the way things really were. It's more that sometimes I felt like Alexei was body shaming me, she says.
The way Alex motivated me to work out and make me feel good, I didn't take it that way. And I felt like he was
hit towards you.
I felt like he was body shaming me, but he wasn't.
Now, we won't ever know for sure exactly what happened, right? But Andrei keeps on pushing. Alexei is definitely a lot worse than me, he says. But with tensions clearly fraying, sensing that things might be about to blow up, Alex and Loren decide that the best option for everyone is for them to leave. They don't want to create even more of an issue. But Yara isn't happy.
No,
you guys,
horrible.
Guys,
where
you
y'all
come
going?
here
Perfect
for
couple
me.
walking away. You guys are perfect.
Guys, you come here for me. What the are you fighting about?
So, as Loren and Alexei leave, Andrei and Elizabeth loudly try telling Yara that they confronted them for calling Andrei a dick. Remember, she was the one that told them they'd called him a dick. But for Yara, this is all too much. She can't take this anymore. I've worked so hard for this event, she says. You guys have all just ruined my party.
So what's wrong with them? This is about her logic party. Let them fight them.
It's okay.
Listen, you
them. Let them go. Who cares?
Clearly, Yara cares, but she only has herself to blame. She was the one that was stirring here. She was the one that told Elizabeth what Loren said. What did she think was going to happen? Now, when Yara does finally calm down, Elizabeth comes over to apologise. But, fuming, angry at what's happened, Yara decides to drop another bomb.
And Alex told us that your husband lost the $75,000. He told them as a secret.
Wow, that was spiteful. But you can clearly see it's had the intended consequence. It's clearly touched a nerve. Now, Yara does go on to say that she's only revealed this because Elizabeth should have known better than to make a scene at her party. But this news has hit Elizabeth like a ton of bricks. Not only does she now know her friends have all been sitting there gossiping about her again, but it also means she also realises that her friends knew about her husband's loss before even she did. Now, somehow managing to just about compose herself, hold it all together, Elizabeth announces that they are also now gonna leave. But before they do, Andrei decides to come over.
Yara.
What?
I didn't want it to turn
No,
that way.
it's okay. I don't want to listen. You will go. You like to fight, go fight.
No, you had a great party.
Please, I have no interest.
Oh, if only Andrei knew the trouble that Yara had just got him into. If he knew, there's no way he'd be trying to make nice. Now, this is all too much for Elizabeth. She was just about managing to keep her composure before, but it's at this point she snaps. Everyone has been talking about the money that you lost, she says to her husband. Everyone but me evidently knew about this. And with that, she storms off with Andrei clamouring behind her.
You're overreacting to these things.
You
It's
better
not-
off with this overreacting, honestly. I am not overreacting. That is totally warranted.
Keep in mind, Libby has only just started to move on from being lied to about the investment. Like, how must this feel for her? She's now found out that she was the only one in the dark. All of her friends knew before she did. This doesn't just leave her feeling angry. It leaves her feeling defeated. It leaves her questioning everything, especially their marriage.
Now I'm starting to wonder, maybe I'm the one who made the bad investment with our relationship.
Yeah, Andrei is going to need to use all of his sweet talk to try and weasel his way out of this one. He knows he's in big trouble, but he might not be the only one. Loren is likely to be in trouble too. I have a feeling Alexei will want to know exactly what she's been saying to Libby. Who would have thought it? Who could have possibly guessed that 2 marriages could face such major issues? All because of a doggy accessory launch party.